take Road 1, I'm going to suggest Road 2 to solve it. Road 1 says we take another subprime loan on Nature's Bank and stop some of the great work we've seen here tonight and delay some future work we know is possible. And they will argue that that's essential to solve our economic problems and just wait and we can deal with nature and the environment later. From our experience in DuPont, the science has developed. It can quickly be turned into technology that dealing with nature in a very different way can be done constructively and actually improve the economy at the same time. We believe in the next 12 months, people in this room can make a tremendous difference in taking that second course, and we're confident it can work. Thank you so much for this honor tonight.
It's with great pride that I present the next award to a conservationist that all of us can envy because of her extraordinary and selfless deeds. It's my privilege to present the ICCF Lifetime Achievement Award to my dear friend Maggie Bryant. Maggie is an investor who believes that the corporate sector has a responsibility to integrate good conservation practices into daily business decisions, such as land use. She pioneered conservation easements in Northern Virginia and a longtime supporter of the Piedmont Environmental Council with Senator Whitehouse's father and Robert Udall and others that are here tonight. She set an example for neighbors by committing 17,000 acres to be managed for wildlife and wetlands conservation on her property called Terra, and she owns over 100,000 acres under conservation management in the Paraguayan Pantanal. Maggie has dedicated her life to leadership roles in private conservation. She is the former chair of the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation and has been on the board of the Wild Foundation for 20 years, and she founded the Dinder Foundation and is a board member of the Kasama Foundation. She's traveled all over the world for 30 years and developed projects for tourism in KwaZulu-Natal. The Zulus call her Tumanela, she who shows the way. Maggie is a proponent of ecotourism because economic and ecological impacts can be achieved simultaneously. She's been recognized for many of her conservation efforts all over the world. Miss Maggie, as some of us call her, is currently engaged in the interactive Miss Maggie Earth's Adventures project, promoting the concept of one-worldmanship and environmental wellness for young people on the internet. Please see the Miss Maggie brochures at your places and take them home for your children. Over 25,000 teachers in the country use them as learning aids. Maggie has never sought the spotlight and, in fact, shuns it, preferring to let her actions speak for herself. True to form, she is not here tonight. But I had dinner with Maggie last night with our board member, Lindsay Thomas, who's here, and I told Maggie we were blessed with a tremendous turnout. I was just scared the Perini Ranch victuals might not last, and so Maggie sent 200 ham biscuits, which I thought might be the only thing the staff could have to eat. In her absence, Vance Martin, president of the Wild Foundation, is here to accept her award.
Vance? Listen, that was unexpected. I'll just say hi from Maggie and say thank you, David. And as many of you know, Maggie had a heart episode about 3 months ago. That didn't deter her from just spending 3 weeks with me in Botswana and South Africa. And I said, Maggie, are you going to come to the banquet? And she said, well, I'm going to have jet lag. Getting a little bit older, and I've got to get over it. I said, Maggie, they're going to give you an award. And she said, then I'm really not going to be there. So she gave one message, and she said, thank everybody for doing what they're doing. So, David, thank you.
Thanks, Vance.
Okay.
Can you take this to Miss Maggie? Thank you. I'm very happy now to introduce our newest co-chairman of the International Conservation Caucus in the United States Senate. We're very excited to have Sheldon Whitehouse as part of that team now.
Thank you, David, and thanks to all of you who've come together tonight in support of the International Conservation Caucus Foundation. It is a pleasure to be with you on the eve of a new dawn in our country. The new president we inaugurate tomorrow brings with him the hopes of millions here and around the globe that America will lead the world to protect our natural resources for our children and for generations to come. Tonight, I have the honor to present Edward Norton with ICCF's Good Steward Award, recognizing individual leadership in conservation. Edward Norton is considered one of the most gifted actors of his generation. He has won a Golden Globe Award, an Obie Award, and has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards for his performances in Primal Fear and American History X. He is also a producer and director and narrated the highly acclaimed National Geographic series, Strange Days on Planet Earth, which chronicles threats to the environment, particularly our oceans and marine ecosystems, which of course means a lot to my ocean state and to my marine scientist wife, Sandra. Like his father, Ed Norton Sr., Mr. Norton is a committed conservationist and environmental advocate. He serves on the board of trustees of the Enterprise Community Partners, one of America's largest nonprofit developers of affordable housing. He also teamed up with the energy company BP to create the Solar Neighbors program, a partnership with Enterprise which installs free solar panels on the homes of low-income families in Los Angeles. Edward Norton has contributed his time and energy to the National Conservation System Foundation, the Maasai Wilderness Conservation Trust, New York City's Friends of the High Line, the Nature Conservancy, the Grand Canyon Trust, the Wilderness Society, and Earth Justice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Edward Norton.
That sounds like the end of the video. Thank you. My thanks to the ICCF for the work that you do, and especially to all the legislators here tonight whose presence here and their affiliation with the Conservation Caucus demonstrates the kind of focus and insight that this country sorely needs to thrive into the next century. This is an extremely flattering honor, probably richly undeserved. I think that the people who do the heavy lifting, advocating for and educating about these issues are usually not the ones who stand up front. And I accept this only for 2 opportunities. The first is to acknowledge that most of what I know and all of my inspiration to engage in these issues has flowed to me from my father, Ed Norton, who is here tonight. My father has been one of the leading lights of the environmental movement for the last 30 years. And I'll digress a little and tell you that when my father was the head of public policy for the Wilderness Society in the early 80s, he plastered our family's blue Volvo with a bumper sticker that said "SWAT Watt." And I asked who James Watt was and why we needed to swat him, and thus launched my education into the interplay of politics and the environment, a discourse that has essentially never stopped. But whether litigating that particular EPA, founding the Grand Canyon Trust and the Rails to Trails Conservancy, initiating the Nature Conservancy's flagship China program and running it for 7 years, brokering large purchases of timber holdings for conservation, being the chairman of the board of the new National Landscape System Conservation Foundation, or teaching and guiding investment giants like TPG into how to leverage their power to save the planet. Any one of these efforts would be the achievement of a lifetime, and he has done all of them. And I think it's my father and others like him who do the work quietly who really deserve these accolades. Secondarily, I chose to accept this because it was my father, actually, when I was hesitating, who said if I had 4 minutes in front of a significant number of members of Congress, I would try to do something with that. So I am going to presume to take the opportunity to just share one brief thought. I think that we can all agree here that every generation gets called in different ways to a higher purpose and goes through the experience of realizing that the challenge of their time is going to identify itself. They will not get to choose it. My grandparents' generation certainly had other plans when they rose and faced the great battles of totalitarianism and fascism. My parents' generation certainly didn't ask for the upheaval of the 60s, but they carried the torch of civil rights and social equality nonetheless. I'm 39 years old. I have very little doubt that the legacy of my generation is going to hinge on how we respond to this revelation that we are altering the natural systems of this planet in ways that will not sustain our civilization. And I feel equally confident in saying that my generation, and even those younger than us, have accepted that this is our cause. And we are ready to rise to the challenge. And when I say that, I don't mean just the gestural acts of putting in CFLs and not using plastic bags, which are important, but I mean that we are ready to face the true long-term costs of overhauling the infrastructure of the way we live. I think that we're ready, but we face a daunting reality, which is that all the advocacy of the last 50 years done by many of the people in this room, all of the advocacy of the next 50 years, will not meet the scale of the climate challenge that we face unless bold action is taken by the political leadership. And with deep respect for ICCF's with true respect for ICCF's ethos of international collaboration, I have to point out that I think it's very, very difficult to effectively persuade other people to pursue sustainability when you do not practice it yourself at home. And when you contribute greenhouse gases at a per capita level far beyond any other society on the planet. We need the leadership in this room to lead a national, bipartisan commitment to legislation that curbs carbon emissions here at home. And we need it to have teeth, and we need it to happen immediately. In one example, in the housing sector alone, in which I know something about, a federal commitment of $5 billion a year over 10 years could result in 40% energy savings in 25 million residential units and 50 million tons of carbon dioxide mitigated per year, not to mention the green jobs that would create. And that's a big number. $5 billion a year is a big number, but it doesn't seem so big when you consider the fact that HUD currently spends $4 billion annually to pay the utility costs of inefficient government-supported buildings. So the solutions are clearly there. That's the point. The solutions are clearly available, but there's been a faint level of political will. And we have no time, really, for small-scale incremental progress. And so the policymakers in this room need to act with urgency and real seriousness of purpose. For starters, Congress simply shouldn't continue to allow any taxpayer funding to support building of any kind that does not meet more demanding minimum standards for energy efficiency and low carbon emissions. And one of the wonderful things about being in this room with this group of people is that everybody here, I think, recognizes that these are policy decisions that should be easy, that transcend partisan economic philosophy and achieve that rare benchmark of true common sense. I was watching CNN today, and they ran the full text of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech today on this day where we celebrate his life and his vision. And I was struck. He speaks of the urgency of now, which a lot of people, including our new president, have referenced. But his next words, which I had never heard referenced, were equally profound. He said, "We have no time to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism." The tranquilizing drug of gradualism. I think that is an apt warning for a different but equally righteous cause, and that the future will not forgive us for being timid or squandering a new generation's commitment and resourcefulness. So thank you very much for this honor and this opportunity, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the close of our gala. Quickly, I've just been told Ashley Judd came in a few minutes ago. Ashley, we're glad to have you. I introduced you earlier, but you didn't hear it, so I'm going to say again, we're glad to have you tonight. I want to ask Ashley and the Duvalls and all of our friends that are part of this, please to come up to the stage with us now, if you will. Our co-chairs, come please and bring your spouses. And our other honorees, if you will. All of our speakers, please come up. And our board members, the Archers, the Thomases, please join us on stage. We're going to have a toast. And we'd like to have you to come up, please, to be part of this toast. They're trying to pass champagne. If you see it coming, don't be bashful. I take particular pleasure in John Tanner, you coming up, I think. But I also want to introduce the Udalls, Tom and Jill. Tom was one of our founding co-chairmen in the House, the ICC co-chairs, and now he's graduated to the Senate. He'll be a great leader. He'll join with Sheldon, Whitehouse, and Sam Brownback and Olympia Snow in doing great things there in the Senate. John Tanner and Tom Udall are going to lead us in a toast. And when they have, we're going to then recess to a song by the Ron Clark Academy from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to introduce them now so that they can come right out. They're here to perform for President Obama tomorrow at the inauguration. They'll bid us farewell. And so with this toast and their song, I'll say goodnight. Thank you all for being here.
They're going to pass around the champagne. It's now my duty, along with my dear friend Tom Udall, to propose a toast to the incoming administration. Here in our country, we have a lot to be thankful for, and we have a lot to share with the rest of the world. This presidential inauguration will take place tomorrow, is not only an historic time for our country, it is also a time to commemorate the effective governance of our country and the peaceful transition of power that we have enjoyed here for over 230 years. I want you to listen to the words that the President-elect said in Grant Park on November the 4th. I think they are prophetic and inspiring. He said this: "If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is the answer." Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to close the toast to present to you my dear friend, Senator Tom Udall.
John, thank you. Thanks. Thank you. John, my good friend, thank you. Thank you very much. My wife Jill and I are thrilled to be with you here this evening. Conservation must first meet the basic necessities of life: water, electricity, and shelter. As we meet these needs, we can begin truly effective conservation. The challenges, and they are many, can be met with committed leadership, and we must begin today. Ladies and gentlemen, I propose a toast to the success of the incoming president. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses to Barack Obama and his great success. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers.
Hello, my name is Willie Thornton, and I am proud to be a 7th grader at the Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. At our school, we use music and energy in all of our classrooms to get us pumped up about what we're learning about. We learn about things such as domestic and foreign affairs, such as offshore oil drilling, healthcare, and Ahmadinejad in Iran. What a crisis. With those affairs, we debate them back and forth with people being parties such as the Republicans and the Democrats, and that is how the song "You Can Vote However You Like" was born. We wrap those debates back and forth, and "You Can Vote However You Like" is to show people not only to listen to the things that about what people have to say with the domestic and foreign affairs, but just to get involved in this election and to vote. But right now, the song that we're about to sing is called the Empowerment Song. And the Empowerment Song means to us that we are empowered to make a change in this world. We are empowered to be whatever we want to be and to not let anything stop us, because we shall reach our full potential. And without further ado, I would like to turn this over to my fellow classmate, Deja Kirkley.
Make that change today, 'cause loving yourself is the only way. I am empowered to change my world, every moment, every way. You are empowered to change the world. Make that change
Thank you. Thank you all. God bless you. Good night. Be safe going home.